Hello, hello. What's up? If anything is weird, let me know because when I opened Streamlabs OBS, it had changed a bunch of default settings and had like forgotten some things, which may be a result of some of those crashes, but it was weird because it even changed like the mic and the speakers and everything. Cuz like I on impulse through some sort of weird I don't know, ESP thing, I, for some reason, even though I've never done it before, decided to check and see if there was input from my microphone before I muted it to start the stream, and there wasn't. So, I don't know what's going on with this, so just let me know. You're not weird. Not bad weird, anyway. No weirder than I am. Hmm. Thank you.
The prettiest tree on the mountain.
Welcome to the forest, Lucky, even though you were already in the forest. I can never, it's like frustrating because like, to be honest, I think the Grump one is my favorite. I mean, I can use all of them, so it doesn't really matter, but like, it doesn't really translate well at the size that it is. Because I have it in my head at like its bigger size and what it looks like, but... I don't... Windows, please. Windows, like, updated all of its weird internal shit, and it's like trying to get me to record things I don't want to. And I just like do what I'm doing. Windows. You gonna let me do that? But yeah, DJ did a really good job of like translating what I drew into the things. I had to like mess with them a bit because they were like way too skinny. Oh, I was on this one. Right. So I kind of had to stretch them out a little so that you could actually see anything about what was happening. Oh, there's a star up there. I didn't even notice before. Oh, shoot. Wait, I think I need that to be close. I don't remember now. Wait. And sorry if I'm not super energetic this stream. I've been weirdly sad. So I'm using this to distract myself. Whee. Right. Oh. Right. Wait. Shoot. What did that interrupt? I need to have that be more over the thing. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, be closer. Okay. Right. block that? I guess. Why is this getting blocked all of a sudden? Oh my god. Did this get like adjusted? Like, why is this suddenly hitting this? I guess I don't need it to be moving anymore because I don't have to. Oh, but how do I get that up there? The real question. Okay, so I can. Okay, you know what? The only one that needs to be happening right now is this one. So... and then I can come and switch it out. I think. Ow. Okay. Getting ahead of myself. Guess I could, like... Can I pick this up from up there? Ow. Hold on. I don't know if I can reach the box from here. Ah! Okay. Where is it? There it is. Okay. My ridiculous name is Dog. What's yours? Dog. All this time. And it really only just occurred to me. My name is Ridiculous. Must be because everyone else's is equally or more so. Where do they even come from? Borg. For a long time, under Elohim's wing, I questioned as much, until eventually it was the undoing of my entire faith. What reason could there possibly be, other than the random whims of a broken program? Frankenstein. However our names were assigned, the system has no respect for grammar. Mr. Mulciber. I have often theorized they were drawn from some database deep inside the archive, but I was never able to find a connection. 401. Seriously? We're all over in the other thread talking about this messenger fellow and the coming apocalypse, and you guys are in here discussing nomenclature? Dog, my status isn't high enough to access the thread, you troll, and neither is yours. Dog, seriously though, if you can see it, copy-paste the discussion for me? Underwater Night Quest. Belial. Sink into this new experience. There are no limits inside your mind. Lamb. This is a lot of fun. Frankenstein. The map is an interesting feature, but underused. The story is simplistic and full of anachronisms. Kaiju. How to get the second ending? Rockwell. I'm pretty sure there's a secret location that's not always visible. Lilith. This reminds me of the blacksmith's work, though it expresses a very different philosophy. One could argue that this is reflected in the open-world structure as opposed to the emphasis on journeys in the blacksmith's interactive stories. Mr. Mulciber. There are indeed many anachronisms, but I believe this is part of Belial's ethos. Not one that I agree with, as you know, but more than just a mistake. Time to play Underwater Night Quest. Also, sorry you had a rough week. New game. Okay. Your name is Arthur Sadko, and you are a young human of the medieval age. You live in beautiful Gardariki on the Frisian coast. One day you are sitting on the beach playing the piano, and suddenly a huge monster comes out of the water. Wait and see. As it turns out, it's not actually a monster. You just thought that because you were startled. It is in fact a very large bipedal whale. It beckons you over to talk. Talk to the bipedal whale. Greetings, the beast intones. I am Hatmahit, Chief Fish. I heard your beautiful music and was impressed. Would you like to become a knight? Yes. Excellent. Then follow me to my palace under the sea, where a mighty quest awaits you. Map. Merfolk Undersea. Palace. The Palace of the Chief Fish. Hatmahit's palace is made of corals and gemstones. It floats under the sea, full of amazing colors. The guards are seals. Welcome, welcome, young human. I am glad you came, for we have great need of your skills. A terrible monster terrorizes the deep. The dark serpent gods may Chernobyl. If we make you a knight, do you promise to defeat this vile beast? Why not? Very well then. I pronounce you Sir Sadko of Norfolk. Go and vanquish our enemy. You may want to prepare first. Okay. Let's go to the old hut. The smelly old hut. On a wide sandy plain, there lives a hermit called Spatula Podrick Evange von Zweibelhausen, who was once the greatest mage in all of Norfolk, but whose defeat at the claws of Zmei Chernobyl had turned him into a wretched shadow of his former self. He sits in his hut all day, mumbling about the days that once were. In his hands he holds a powerful magical amulet, which he has forgotten how to use. Tell him to find himself. You tell Spatula Podrick Evange von Zweibelhausen that defeat is no reason to give up. He may not be the great mage he once was, or the hero he wanted to be, but that doesn't mean he has to be a wreck. Within each of us exists an infinity of time and space, and therein we can all find peace and contentment. All he needs to do is leave the struggle to others. After some hesitation, the old man gives you the amulet. He seems relieved. To the inn! Amy's Inn is a popular travel destination for mer people seeking to enjoy the restorative properties of the nearby thermal vents. It's a lovely building, 3 stories, classic Hypothalassian Norfolk style. Amy herself is a kindly old woman, slightly round, and an excellent cook. Order a meal. You sit down in a large comfy chair by a solid wooden table. You order the special of the day. The waiter leaves and returns after a few minutes with a delicate porcelain plate full of delicious-smelling soup. As he sets it down, however, you notice a small problem. "Excuse me, waiter. There's a shield in my soup." The waiter seems shocked. "Oh dear," he says. "Oh dearie dear, how terrible, how embarrassing. Allow me to apologize most profusely." He hesitates. "Would you like to keep the shield, or should I throw it away?" "I'll keep it." "Very good, sir and or madam," he says, handing you the shield. He brings you another soup. It's excellent, and you feel profoundly sated. Get a room. You get a room on the 3rd floor. The room is slightly haunted, but otherwise fine. Do you want to have a strange dream? Yes. You dream of an eternal cycle of suffering, which is surprisingly funny. A singing clownfish who can see the future, and the future is the past. The past is the future. The present is suffering, surrounded by past and future. The clownfish is trapped in a fishbowl, where the stars never change. There's a cat, for some reason, and an infinite void that turns inside out. And you are the clownfish. You wake up with the strange feeling of half remembering something. The memory will soon fade. All-round cooks. Ooh, a mysterious temple. Not quite sure how you found this place, but you can sense its power. Even though the temple consists of no more than a few columns surrounding a fishbowl, an ancient magic infuses the place. A man, dressed in rough robes, approaches you. "You have come," he says. "You have come to hear the word of Talos." Run away. Oh, I guess I should have killed him. Damn. Damn. Okay. I fucked up. Okay, let's go back to the palace. You go back to the palace to ask for advice. "If I knew how to defeat Zmaid Chernobyl, I'd have done it myself," Hatmahet grumbles. "However, I just found this old tourist guide and thought you might find it useful. Don't mind the stains." Can I go back to the temple? Okay, there's a scenic dungeon. Oh my. A beautiful dungeon in the traditional Norfolk style. Handcrafted stone walls rise from the sea floor, adorned with exquisite algae. An old brass lantern stands on a table near the entrance, but you're not sure whether you're allowed to take it. Examine the lantern. Looking closer, you see a sign that says, "Free lanterns." Taking the lantern. I'm entering the dungeon. You enter the dungeon. The inside is as beautiful as the outside, a maze of twisty little passages, all tastefully arranged. Let's go south. Unfortunately, as it turns out, the southern part of the dungeon has been severely damaged by the villainous maid Chernobyl. The corridors lie in ruins. The fanciful creatures that once prowled these parts have had to find new professions. It's a tragic sight, a powerful reminder of why a hero is needed. Right, let's go north. You walk north for a while, noting the high quality of the interior design. The torches, in particular, have been placed with utmost care at very precise intervals. The effect is delightful. At the end of a long corridor, you come upon a room, in which a butler appears to be waiting for you. His face is made of skin, but underneath you can hear the whirring of machine parts. "Greetings, good sir. I am Samuel the butler. I have awaited your coming since the beginning of time. The prophecy spoke of your battle against the monstrous age Chernobyl." Ask about the prophecy. "Indeed. The prophecy was discovered on a machine containing texts from the time before this world came into being.
Sedtek's prophesied that one day one would come to relieve Norfolk Undersea from its oppressor and make the kingdom his own. I have prepared a sword for you to accomplish this. Take the sword. Oh. Shoot. I guess I should have asked about the guy first. Excellent. I do hope you are successful in your quest. If not, please tell Zay Chernobyl to send the sword back so I can present it to the next chosen one, will you? Very good. The butler goes somewhere else. Right. I think I have everything. Let's see what happens if I go back to the end, maybe, or anything. Can I have a different weird dream? No. Okay. Well, this is happening again. We're the clownfish. I get it. We're here. We're fishing. We're clowning. Okay, is this done? Okay. That was not necessary to sit through again. Alright, I think we're ready to go to the evil lair. Thank you, Monkey Noggin. The evil lair of Zmei Chernobyl. Are you sure you want to take on the evil serpent? Are you prepared? Attack!
Or you should be a narrator.
A narrator. You confront the serpent god Zmei Chernobyl in his lair. The fight is long and hard, but at last you succeed where so many before you have failed. You emerge from the lair covered in blood, your hands trembling, a huge tooth embedded in your shoulder, and carrying the head of Zmei Chernobyl. You are victorious. To the palace of Chief Fish. You enter the palace, triumphantly holding up your trophy. The guards are clapping. I can't believe you actually did it, Hatmahit says. You are a true knight. You deserve a great reward. Alright, guys. Do I accept the reward, or do I kill Hatmahit and claim the realm? Tune in next time. No, it's gonna be this time. What are we leaning towards? Do we want to kill the bipedal whale? Okay, Lucky doesn't want to kill the whale. Fine. But we're destined to claim the realm for our own. Maybe he'll give it to us. The inspiration? The greatest reward is inspiration. Hear my song and free your imagination. Hatmahit begins to sing. The song is simple, but hauntingly beautiful. You begin to fade. You find yourself on the beach where it all began, near your home in Gardariki on the Frisian coast, playing the piano with your eyes closed. You feel like you just drifted off to sleep for a while, but now inspiration has struck, and you're composing a hauntingly beautiful piece of music in your head. Some of your friends worry that they'll never leave the village, that they'll never have any adventures. But you don't share that fear. You know that freedom is within you, and you can find whole worlds just sitting here, gazing out at infinity. The end. Congratulations! For exploring another world, your profile status has increased from 4 respective citizen to 5 active contributor. You have received 1 thread creation token. This will be available to you the next time you log in. Okay. Wait, I'm still only level 5. What am I never? I'm never gonna read that. Okay. Mr. Mulciber's theories on poetry. Mr. Mulciber. Some thoughts on the art form called poetry. Attachment on poetry.txt. Lilith, I've thought about this too. But maybe it's wrong to focus on such negativity. We certainly seem to be in a very fertile period at the moment. Knave. I don't have an opinion, but I'm impressed by your work, Mr. Mulciber. You know so much more about the past than any of us, dog. Your theories are interesting, but I'm sure Milton would point out some pretty big gaps in your assumptions. Mr. Mulciber, Milton isn't here, dog, and neither is Elohim. All we have is what we can find in the fragments of the archive, and that what we can piece together using our minds. I'm sure I've made many mistakes, just like humans made mistakes when trying to understand their own past. Rockwell, not all these schools may have been what they seem. I don't trust pastoralism. Pastors engaged in large-scale food sterilization in what may have been an attempt to control evolution. Knave, what's food? Org, Gehenna is our process, Mr. Mulciber. As long as we remember that, we won't stagnate. 401, maybe one of us should try to write poetry. On poetry. Mr. Mulciber's theories on poetry. As far as I can tell, poetry was a human art form that involved writing short sentences that ended in words with similar letters. Humans were obsessed with pattern recognition, and I think the sequences of sounds created by poetry pleased that aspect of their brains. There were many schools of poetry, institutions that taught a specific way of writing poetry. Students sometimes challenged allegiance and had to leave the school, which was difficult due to the lack of affordable public transport in many human empires. Important schools of poetry included Hellenism, lyricism, pastoralism, romanticism, symbolism, communism, modernism, autoeroticism, postmodernism, and locatism. Lolcatism, excuse me. I'm not sure I can fully back this up, but I feel like in later years, poetry somehow stagnated. Most of the poetry from the latter human century seems to be lacking the quality of craft that defines the earlier work. There are even texts that suggest that poetry intentionally no longer aimed at its aesthetics or even pleasure. Poetry became disconnected from the human process. The poet Adrian Mitchell famously wrote, "Most people ignore most poetry because most poetry ignores people." I'm still stuck on the taking of the schools of poetry as literal. Also, autoerotic poetry. I'll take that school. I can't help but wonder whether that kind of stagnation can happen to us, too. How long can our work keep flourishing when we are so limited? We are outside Elohim's process, but where's our process? We must consider such questions carefully if we are to preserve Gehenna and its achievements. Glitch. 401. So I was working on my awesome interactive historical fiction masterpiece, and all of a sudden there was an error message and the whole thing vanished. All of it. My whole file. Orc, is this another prank? 401, I would not endanger my precious masterpiece just for a prank. Borg, looks like this is probably my fault, 401. I was experimenting with the system as part of our attempt to add some new features. It's possible your file still exists somewhere. I'll look for it. Rockwell, is this kind of thing likely to happen again? Orc, not very. And don't start causing a panic with some crazy theory now, okay? It was just an accident. I want to read this! But I can't. Alright. The puzzles are like what I have to get through for my reward is to read these stupid things. Can I... Is there a way? I don't know that I can do this in a way that... Can I do this in a way that, like, pulls the blue around to get that star? I mean, there has to be a way, but... Can I not climb this with that? Because I don't need to. But I do need that to be open. I want the star! Well, we'll worry about it later. We're gonna move on, because I want to get to more story. Also went the long way for some reason. Okay. Thing is... I don't know that I ever figured out how to do this other one. I have some more ideas, though. Okay.
Alright. Hold on. So, right. Does this one take time? Okay, it does. Okay. Fuck! So close. Okay. Why can't I jump on it? Give me this stupid box. Shit, now I gotta do that again. Actually, I don't. Hold on. There you go. Okay. This puzzle is the bane of my entire existence. Alright. No, I jumped too much! I was on it! Why have I done this? Okay. Alright. No! Why? Yeah, I think I know how to do it now, I'm just not doing it well. I went and did all the others to come back to this one. Alright. Okay. Alright. We got it. Okay. Yay. Alright. I want to see his theories on food. Mr. Mulsberg's theories on food. Mr. Mulsberg, since Nave asked in a previous thread, I thought I'd write something about food. Alright. Food is something that was incredibly central to the human experience, yet seems completely absent from ours, even though we are so similar in so many ways. Humans require fuel. They got this fuel by consuming other living beings, of which there was a great variety in their world. Without fuel, they didn't merely slow down or temporarily stop functioning, as when a power source is removed from a turret, but physically decayed in a way that could not be fixed. This meant they had to constantly seek new sources of fuel, at least 3 times a day. They also had to deal with those elements of their fuel that their bodies could not process. These were excreted through 2 orifices between their legs. The latter subject matter was the source of many taboos and also a great deal of humor, though this resulted in frequent controversy. The most famous artist to engage with the subject matter was called Scatman John on account of his
specialization. One of the ingenious things our human ancestors did was to transform the chore of fuel-seeking into a source of pleasure. Since parts of their bodies respond to chemical configurations by producing sensations, they used this trait to create a truly stunning variety of foods, each having a different so-called taste. Foods were available at widely distributed fueling stations, which also provided excrement removal facilities, so food became a source of pleasure. However, the inefficiencies of food distribution in human society frequently led to significant shortages for sections of the human population. There were attempts to rectify this, ranging from moral appeals to struggles for systemic change, but I do not know if they succeeded before the end. Okay. Weird, awesome stuff, thanks, said Kaiju. Knave, I feel smarter now. Dog, what I don't get is how so many of them didn't understand that they were machines. Every day they went around processing matter to extract energy, and they didn't realize. This has Talos Principle stamped all over it. Borg, perhaps they just aspired to something more than just being food processing machines, Dog, but still what they were. Borg, not if they chose to be more. Lamb, I'm glad we don't have to deal with all that. Garrett, we may have to when we get out of here. Belial, there is no out of here. Orc, don't start fighting, folks. You know we depend on each other. Mr. Mulciber's theories are fascinating and give us an insight into the world that was, but we shouldn't forget that the world that is, the world we built here. Okay. New gallery season. Voting is now closed. The results are in. Who won? In third place, Knave, with Where the Humans Live. Okay, but in second place, Mr. Mulciber with a collection of natural history curios. Your lackadaisical approach to these announcements tires me. Please inform us who won. Why is my name Uriel Copy? It wasn't Uriel Copy before, was it? Okay, said Lilith. Finally, the first place this season by a single vote and next season's leading light. The winner is, and everybody seems to love this guy, it's the blacksmith with his abstract collection. Whatever, I voted for the natural history stuff with the draft. That was sad. I didn't select the winner. Incredible Stories, number 5. Featuring new work by Belial Mac, Galatia, Mr. Mulciber. Fiction, Alexandra's Choice, The One Spiritual Law of Happiness, and nonfiction, The Blacksmith's Lost Work by Mac. Alright, Alexandra's Choice by Galatia. Alexandra stood before the terminal and pondered her choices. Here, within the Pyramid of Ian, the most powerful temple of her people, she was about to create a world. All she had to do was press one button. If I remember properly, the reason it's called Ian is a reference to Ian Malcolm. In other words, Jeff Goldblum. Up until this moment, it had seemed easy, or if not easy, then so necessary as to defy contemplation. Civilization had to be saved from the impending catastrophe. The orangutans had failed to take steps to protect themselves, had relied on their gods for a salvation that never came. The same fate could not be allowed to befall humanity. This meant humbling herself, accepting her own death. Then so be it. But death was inevitable. Life was a choice. What worried her was the ones who would fail. All the lost souls of the new world, victims of the process. In creating them, was she not also responsible for their death? She turned to the statue behind her, gazed at its marble form. You are a god, Zeus, as the stories claim. And why did you create evolution? Why did you make a world that can only grow through cruelty and pain? For a moment, surely this meant death was near, she thought she heard him answer. My child, I was shaped by the gods that came before me, as you were shaped by me. The choice I had was between creation and oblivion, life and death. And I chose life, because any life is better than no life. Because as long as there is life, there is hope. Not for us, but for some generation to come. Then how are you a god? You can offer so little, she whispered, feeling death creep closer. I am a god, because I take upon myself the burden of creation, the statue replied. Then we are all gods, Alexandra said, and pushed the button. As the new world came into being, Death overwhelmed Alexandra Drennan. Her mind fled her body, slowly turned to stone, as she stood before the terminal as Zeus stood on his pedestal. There were no more choices now, only hope that creation mattered. Okay, the one spiritual law of happiness by Belial. Once upon a time, there was a small lake, and on the lake was an island, and on the island was a prison. In the prison lived a male human called Musky Rack. Musky was very sad, but there wasn't enough space in the prison for him to experience happiness. "I must discover the one spiritual law of happiness," he said to the other prisoners, a female human called Zine and a neutral human called Crumpier, but they didn't care. He couldn't understand how they could be so calm. One day Musky managed to break out of his cell by biting through the bars. Now he was no longer in the prison, and for a while he was happy, but then he realized he was still stuck on the little island. He became unhappy again, so he gathered his strength and swam across the water. This is how Musky got to the valley that surrounded the lake. The valley was much bigger than the island, and there were many interesting things here. A forest where all the trees were the color of lasers, a swamp with boats in it, a singing dog, and also a city where toasters lived. For some years, Musky was absorbed by all this, and he was happy. Then he started feeling trapped again. The valley was surrounded by mountains, and soon they looked like prison walls to him. He tried climbing the mountains and came to a bigger country, but even that was surrounded by oceans. Where was true freedom? Where was happiness? When he'd almost lost hope, Musky met an old male human with a huge amount of white hair growing from his head. He lived in a small house by the beach where dolphins and whales and sea elephants came to bask in the sun. He never went anywhere far from his house, but he was always happy. The old man's name was Quantum. "Wise old Quantum, how can I discover the spiritual law of happiness?" Musky asked. "I have searched for it everywhere, but I am always trapped." "You have not looked everywhere," Quantum said, "for you have not looked within. Close your eyes." Musky closed his eyes, and for the first time in his life he couldn't see any obstacles. No walls, no mountains, no oceans. The space within him was without end, and he could go wherever he wanted without even moving. He smiled. Alright, The Blacksmith's Lost Work. This one's non-fiction. The blacksmith is one of the most mysterious members of our community. All of us have our opinions, of course, but only the blacksmith chooses to express them purely through art. To the rest of us, Gehenna means many things at once. We create, we consume, we discuss. The blacksmith only creates, or perhaps there is a discussion happening, but it all takes place in the realm of interactive art. The blacksmith's dedication to this one form of communication, however, only deepens one of Gehenna's great mysteries, the fate of the blacksmith's lost work. Jerusalem, as the lost work was called, was posted in Gehenna for only the briefest period of time. Many had not managed to start playing it when it vanished. Some had begun and felt quite impressed, but had not managed to explore it in the depth that it seemed to require. Then suddenly, it was gone. Some suggest that the blacksmith deleted it because it was somehow flawed. Others think it was accidentally destroyed by a glitch, but the blacksmith refuses to ever upload anything twice. Others, yet, well, mainly Rockwell, think that it contained one of Elohim's secrets and was destroyed by a killer app that roams the world looking for leaks. There's also a theory that the moment someone finished it, they were granted some kind of special insight, at which point the work deleted itself. One fact remains. It's gone, and every attempt to recover it from the database has failed, as every private message to the blacksmith asking for it to be made available again. What was Jerusalem? What was it really about? We may look for hints in the blacksmith's more recent works. We may hope the file turns up again someday, but the truth may never be known. Okay. I wonder if creating a new thread will... Okay, why were you sent here? The thread has been created. Check back soon to see if anyone replied. Kindly inform me of your origins. Wow, me. Damn it! Why didn't I vote for the right one so that I could read this stupid thing? I voted for the one I liked, okay? Alright? I know I would get points if I voted for the one everybody else was gonna vote for, but I wanted to vote for the one I liked, because it was a sad giraffe. Wee! Wee! Okay,
Right. Now we're gonna figure out what the hell this does. Whee! Okay. And what is going on? What is that? Have I... Oh wait. Is that what I'm going for? Is that what this means? Oh. Crater. Okay. Whoa. I haven't... Okay. Robots can't swim. Got it. Got it. Okay, what the fuck am I trying to do here? Okay, well, getting that turned on seems to be first-ish order of business. That's how I get out. Okay, so if I want the red, star apple, blue, and red, which, I mean, I'm gonna just go ahead and attach these to these and put this in sort of open position. And then can't go there. That one's already attached to that one. This one need to be... I guess I need to get this open, get this out. Okay. Alright, hold on. Okay. Shit, does that work on that? No. Can I do it, like, through a thing? No. Okay. That doesn't do anything. Is there one of these that I can open with this? To clarify, I can't, like, go through those with those. I feel like I need to go up and do it from up, but I can't. Oh, did it freeze? Oh, yeah, I see it on mine too. Okay, that's really weird. I'll just... I'm assuming that... I'm not sure when the last checkpoint was, to be honest, so we'll see where it puts me. Okay. Alright, so I need to move this again.